Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we've got this lovely Graham Farish class 159. It's in this lovely southeast livery and very retro looking. What we're going to do is fit a decoder to this because it's currently a DC model and we want to make it DCC. So what we are interested in mainly, because both ends are not powered, is we're interested in this guy actually. Just move that over there. So on the 159, the coach is actually the powerhouse of this loco. On the 158 by Graham Farish, it's both ends. Well, it's one of the ends. This has been upgraded with the darkened wheel sets already, so that's a nice little addition. These normally come with like a silver shiny wheels. So what we'll do first then, we'll take this to the track, make sure it works on DC, and then I'll show you how to sort of, I guess, hack it apart and put a decoder in it. Let's go. Okay guys, so here we are at the test track. I've got my DC controller wired up to this track at the minute, and we'll just see if it moves, and it does. So I'm happy with how it's running. What I'm going to show you though, you can see how loud that just was then. This is typically a pull type thing, a pull chassis thing. If you get the China chassis, they're a bit quieter. The reason this and the last loco are quite loud, mainly, I'll take the shell off and run it. One of the problems you'll have is the shell. So taking the shell off, look, I'm just literally lifting it off the loco. One of the problems with noise is the shell amplifies noise. So you can see right there how much quieter that is. Now to make it quieter, you can put blue tack between the shell and the chassis when you put it together, and it will just dampen it a little bit. That's a little hack you can do. The other thing is though, on this and the last loco we did in the last video, these are spring driven bogies, you see there? A lot of the noise comes from those springs. Now you can put grease on those springs, but if you put too much you might bind up the system and overheat the motor. So we're not going to do that in this case. We're going to sort of just leave it as it is, and because it runs fine. If you put grease on that spring, it just binds it up. It uses more current, and that could pop a decoder, or it could, you know, shorten the life of the motor. Yada yada yada. But I just wanted you to know that it's the spring drive in here that's creating a lot of that noise. So if you went for a China version of this, I think actually the class 175 rings a bell. That's got a very similar chassis here, but it's actually got prop shafts that drive the bogies, and they're very, very quiet. So that could be an upgrade for the future for you guys, maybe, you know, get a different DMU chassis, that kind of thing. I think Bachmann are bringing out a new tool version of the 159 soon, so that'll be interesting. Anyway, I'm blabbing on a bit here, but there's two ways to cut the noise down. Put some blue tack between your shell and your chassis, and maybe a light oiling or a light bit of grease just on the spring in here. Don't pack it full because it will just cease to run properly, but that can help you out with noise. So let's go over to the bench, and we're going to start investigating where we need to put our decoder and B all the bits for it. So let's go over to the bench now. Okay, so we're at the workbench. First thing we're going to do is remove this bottom hatch down here and pull down one way. It's got to clip both ends basically, so pull that down and out, and the other end comes out. And here there's an arrow pointing one direction, and on there is also an arrow pointing in the same direction. So if you were to put this round the other way, it would be wrong. So you know it's got to go this way. So we'll put that to one side. Now what I have got is a decoder. Now I suspect most people put this up here somewhere. However, that can interfere with how the shell fits on these, so unless I cut the shell or, you know, cut something out of here, and I don't really want to do that. And I have a cunning plan, because this decoder is so small, it'll actually fit in here, which means it can live under here. The only thing I'm going to have to be careful with here though is feeding the wires up through that hole, because we don't want the wires rubbing on that spring, which is effectively a prop shaft. So I will put a dab of super glue just to hold the wires at the bottom away, like to the outer walls. I'm telling you this now because I'm probably going to time lapse the install of this, and then they'll come up out the top of here. What we want to do is isolate the motor from the chassis. I'll get onto that in a sec. What we've got, this is the decoder that's going in it. It's a Zimo MN170R. Beautiful bit of kit this. It comes with an 8-pin socket there. That'll be going. I'm just interested in using the wires, and not all of them either. So I'll show you that. You just want right hand to left hand pickup and the motor. Right, so to isolate the motor from this chassis, because it's DC, this is the important thing. I'm going to be using these things called DiGi-Hats. I definitely need to use one here. Now, you've got the choice here. You could use one on the top, which means you can leave this rail intact. Or, if you cut this rail about here and about there, you don't need to use a DiGi-Hat here. But you'd have to connect that bit with a bit of wire to this bit. So I'm not going to cut that. I'm going to put a DiGi-Hat in here and a DiGi-Hat in there. Minimal disruption to the standard loco. And then we'll feed our wires to our decoder that's going to live under here. And I don't even have to cut this apart either. Fantastic. And the beauty of the decoder being down here is I can feed one wire to here, and then the other one can go up, round, and to this DiGi-Hat that will be there. So let's get on with it, shall we? So here we are at the test track, but now we're on DCC. I've just connected it to the PC and we'll move off. We'll go the other way. So you'll notice the sounds, it's drivetrain on the loco, that's it. If anything, it's a more pleasant drive. It's fantastic. Most people put the decoder up here. You can cut the bus bar across the top there, yada yada. You can see how I did it. Works a treat, doesn't it? And the shell will now just go back on as it did normally. So fantastic little runner, really. It wouldn't crawl that slowly before DC, so we are all good. Now, the final piece though is to put the shell back on. And that's basically it. What have we got? We'll just drive this away. It's not very exciting because I haven't got a car on either end of this powered car. Let's put one on, shall we? I'm not going to do a running session with it because it's not my one, but in the future I shall definitely be using more DiGi-Hats because Tony, you know who you are, he mentioned it about using it on steam trains, and I've got a lot of steam trains to convert myself, and to be honest with you, I was just going to put cordless motors in them. However, it would be nice to put DiGi-Hats in them, so if you like what you're seeing at the minute, cool. I know there's a lot of this smoke or mystery about kitting out older locos with DCC. Most of the time it's completely doable. There'll just be one or two that are a little bit fruity to convert, but they're still convertible. So thank you very much for watching, and I don't know what's coming up next, but I am trying my hardest to get a Crew Works video out for you guys because progress is happening, just extremely slowly. I'm quite busy doing a lot of commissions for people at the minute, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.